at the introduction, we talked about the fact that the gospel artist Mercy Chinwo has been embroiled in all kinds of recent controversy with regards to her contractual relationship with her former manager, EZT Ezekiel. Of course, so that has birthed a couple of EFCC visitations. It has birthed court orders, and there has continued to be social media interactions about this. But, you know, sometime in the conversation about Mercy Chinwo and her is now estranged manager, Very Dark Man hopped on the table and allegedly was having conversations of bringing several kinds of you know, what's it called? You know, Very Dark Man works a lot with receipts. He will bring you the receipts of this, of that, and eventually, Mercy Chinwo's lawyers charged him to court over defamation of her person and her character. And now the courts in Nigeria have ordered the arrest of Very Dark Man over these allegations.
Well, first off, there have been a lot of call for Very Dark Man's arrest. Remember, Bobrisky had threatened at some point, and then after Bobrisky, there have been a lot of move and people saying, oh, look, he's going to be arrested and put in prison, and once that is done, it is over and done with. As much as there are a lot of Nigerians who are in support of what Very Dark Man has done, and are fond of his for some of the good things he has done using his platform and his kind of influencing, the issue of defamation or libel, you know, character assassination is a very serious one. Now, the court would not have gone to issuing a warrant of arrest if Very Dark Man had done the honorable thing. He was the one that went to the National Assembly during this person's case, Bobrisky's case, you know, in pomp and pageantry. It was a whole show, you know, a beautiful display of his attire and all of that, and we all saw it. So how is it that you claim you have an issue, you have your facts, you have your evidences against messaging were now in the issue with EZT, and you are not appearing in court for that case to be heard? Now, his absence in court, consistent absence despite several calls, is the reason why the warrant of arrest has been issued against him, for him to be brought in for the case to progress. So it's within the rights of the court for that to be done. It's more or less like, since you don't want to come to the courtroom on your own to answer and, you know, be part of court proceedings on the case that has been brought up against you, then we're going to compel you to do so, which is within the rights of the court. And I would like to believe that, you know, the same way Very Dark Man will call out organizations and individuals and they respond, he should be able to go to the court. I mean, if he's not a threat, and if he has nothing to hide, and if he has his facts and evidences intact, he should go argue it out in court. It's the court that's going to be, you know, deciding on the matter. I see no reason why he should be scared, and I see no reason why he should not have appeared in court to even have, because if he had appeared in court in the first place, we would probably not be talking about a warrant of arrest to compel him to be in the court.
And it's just a bench, you know, warrant of arrest, more just to bring him in to answer questions with regards to the allegations of criminal defamation carried out by him. But I mean, there's also the conversations about the fact that Very Dark Man has not been in the country, and maybe that's why he's not granted, you know, courts hearings so far. So maybe Very Dark Man gets into the country, and like he said when he did in the case of Bobrisky, makes a whole pomp and pageantry about appearing in court to either tender the receipts that he says he has about whatever he was accusing Mercy Chinwo of. But I mean, at the end of the day, this continues to raise a lot of questions about signed documents, about contracts, about legal tenders. We are looking at the conversation of wills and how all of this comes up, because this started at the beginning of two business partners not being satisfied with the way financial activities have been run by, you know, their accusations by EZT, their accusations by, you know, the messaging on side and her legal representatives. So, but it's just, we need to be a lot more transparent in our processes, especially where, you know, with the way Nigeria works, especially when money is concerned, there's a need for transparency and the burying of, you know, of greed, such that after people have done credible work with their career, with their ministry, with their brands and organizations, just one flippant activity doesn't, you know, fall it over. And a lot of Nigerians are also hoping that, you know, just as he said, Very Dark Man is appreciated in some quarters for the work that he does, but some other Nigerians cannot beg to differ with the fact that, hey, guy, must you hop on every issue? Because I remember the video that Mr. Chinwo came to make out, you know, at the heat of this particular issue with her estranged manager. She talked about the fact that EZT was deploying, you know, bloggers and influencers. So, you know, Very Dark Man, could he have been one of those that were employed? Because at some point he appeared to just be interested in the matter and was going to bring a side to it. And the side he was going to bring was how Mercy Chinwo had been working against, you know, EZT, as it were. So is this, you know, still part of the dynamics? And a lot of persons are also of the opinion, oh, why should Mercy Chinwo be suing? Why should be? You see, it's just how, you know, Nigerians keep saying Christians should stop being sentimental. And when Christians stop being sentimental, you now want to remind Christians that they are Christians. Hey, look, choose your battle. Let whatever should be addressed by the court, if the court will be transparent and fair through their process, pretend that before court, so that we don't have issues in this country.
Well, this definitely is one of those cases that Nigerians are as interested in it as they are interested in the things that Very Dark Man has done. And this is going to be like the biggest test of his influencing. You know, if you say you're advocating for the rights of people, Mercy Chinwo spoke about violations of our rights and privileges, the unjust, you know, and illegal means that EZT tried to keep her caged. And this is not the first time we've gotten to hear this conversation. I think it was just yesterday I stumbled on a video from Regina Daniels, Netwoko, with the Netwoko now removed from her social media platforms, that, you know, when you help people, when you are in the entertainment industry and you're trying to sign on new artists, you should be able to be fair. You should be able to be just. You should ask yourself, if I was the person I am helping and I'm putting these things down, will I be happy at the end of the day? Because a lot of people might not necessarily sit through looking and reading through those provisions before making the decision. Because at that point, all that is in their head is, I want to blow. Somebody is coming to invest in me to help me blow. That is the only thing they're thinking about. They're not looking at, after I blow and I make 100 million, how much of that 100 million comes back to me? How much did you invest for me to make that 100 million for us? And let's say I make 100 million and you invest, say, 10 million in me, and that 10 million produce 100 million. First off, when you take the 10 million you invested, how much of the 90 million that is remaining will go into your own profit? How much will be set aside to reinvest into me and other people that you would have to take on? How much will go to me? People don't pay attention to these percentages that is being split when it comes to the gains or the revenue that they're going to generate over time. And as a result of that, this problem comes. When you leave that part, you're looking at the social media or the online platforms where, obviously, as EZT was the one behind it, he must have been the one to set it up. So these royalties are being monitored by his team. Mercy Chinwo has no business on the back end to monitor what is coming in. And until situations like this, and even if she has access to monitor and see, oh, this is what has come in for this month for you, this is what has come in for this song, she cannot withdraw it. It is easy that will withdraw and now give her own share of the proceeds. So if an issue has come up as a result of that, a fair-thinking person would want to hear from both sides. And if you didn't hear from both sides and you feel, oh, this one is the one now, you know, denting the image as alleged, that, you know, Mercy Chinwo has also used on just means to pressure the EFCC and the police force to detain EZT. Those are allegations. Those are not, you know, facial allegations. Those are witty allegations that you're making. And you should be able to back it up with evidence. And the case has been taken to court where you now have to go and,
really, beyond social media courts, now you really need to tender evidence.
Those evidences.
Yes. If you will not be slammed with something.
Exactly.
Big.
So the same way you went to the National Assembly to go and show us evidences, which unfortunately that case has died down. It should be the same way. Is the skip making country called Nigeria? Because one would have expected that in all of that.
One of the key issues we now have is that most of these persons that are influencers have very heavyweight political backers, such that if they get into any kind of problem, just the way Nigeria works in Nollywood, you know, one phone call from one big man, and before you know it, matter is has died down. But is it possible for the courts to be very blind to emotions and blind to sentiment and societal status and address these issues, as it were? But now that the court has ordered this bench warrant of arrest, let's see if he's going to make an appearance before court and where that particular case is going to proceed to.